There is nothing crazier than that one screaming sports fan. You know, the one with the foam finger, the big sign, and of course, face paint. For over 2 decades, Dr. Daniel Wann has been studying that fan. He is here with us in the studio to share the psychology of sport fandom. Dr. Wann, thank you for joining us today.
Happy to be here.
Awesome. Now, can you tell me a little bit about how you got started in sports psychology?
Yeah, when I was at the University of Kansas in their doctoral program in social psychology, one of our first tasks as a student was to go talk to other students about their research. And every time I would talk to another student, they'd always tell me how much they hated their research. It was boring, they didn't like it. And I figured pretty quick that I'd better find something that I enjoy. I'd always been a sports fan, and I figured there's a lot of people out there that are also sports fans, and really there wasn't much research on that. So I thought there was a way to kind of find my own niche and at the same time not bore myself to tears.
And how do you go about your research?
Well, we do it in a lot of different ways. The most common way is we'll just give questionnaires to individuals. We'll bring them into a lab and survey them on something. But some of the best things that we've done, the most interesting things that we've done, we'll actually go to the arena themselves and pull fans out of the stands and interview them, talk to them. And you get really good data that way because they're at the event, they're live, it's in person, and their emotions are fired up. So they're more than happy to tell you what they're thinking at that moment in time.
And what have you found between the relationship between fans and their team that they're just obsessed with?
Yeah, the more that they identify with the team, the crazier they're going to be. So for the casual fan that doesn't really have a whole lot of at stake in the game, maybe they go to the game because, well, there's nothing better to do that night, or maybe their friends are going, they want to have some company. They're not the ones going to do the interesting things. But for those fans that are the diehard fans that, every action by the team they feel is their own action, and the team's successes are their successes, the team's failures are their failures, those are the ones we really like to talk to because those are the ones that do the things that, put smiles on our faces as researchers and make us laugh all the way back to our office.
And when you go to sporting events, do you find yourself watching the sporting event, or do you get distracted and end up watching the fans?
Yeah, I think I get the best of both worlds. If it's a good game, as a sports fan, I'll watch the game. But as soon as the game gets boring or it's lopsided and, the outcome's pretty much already been decided, I'll just turn around in my seat and watch the people. and in a lot of ways, I'm also my own best subject. So I'll go to a Murray State basketball game, and afterwards I'll go home and I'll sit down. I'll think to myself, okay, what did I do tonight to embarrass myself? Okay, well, that's what I'll study tomorrow, right? I am a fan. I sit with fans, so I can kind of take it all in and get ideas for research that way.
And you were just recognized on the CBC radio broadcast. You had an interview with that. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, they were interested sort of in the psychological makeup of the fan and sort of from a cultural perspective in terms of how do fans in one culture might differ from fans in another culture, and sort of what's the biology behind it, what's the psychology behind it. They were just trying to get a handle on, why do fans do the crazy things that they do.
Well, great research, Dr. Wann, and thank you for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.